Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Roll call. Gary Murray's here, Rick Corpa. Yep. Mike Berlin.
Here.
Bill Metzinger. Here. Marty Vichak.
Yep.
All present. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second. Marty made the motion, Rick seconds. Any questions, changes? All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approval of the August 9th, 21 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Bill, second by Marty. Any changes, corrections? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Public comment. And if,
Oh, I had one question about the minutes.
oh,
Excuse me.
okay,
It says, on the second page of the minutes, it says next meeting date to be October 11th.
Oh, that's just wrong.
well, it would, yeah, that would have
That
been
was
the
the
normal.
original
Okay,
minutes. That was last Monday. I was out of town. So I had
Okay.
talked to the chair and moved it to the
Okay.
18th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
That's funny.
Public comments, is there anybody on right now?
Only Dan right now.
Okay, and if somebody comes in, we'll allow them to come in if they need to. Okay, Commissioner reports, update on employees' work schedule and 21 construction.
Okay, I'm gonna start with, I put the copy of this, it says Big Ten Highway Commissioners meeting. I told you guys about this last meeting. It's coming up on Thursday of this week in Hayward. Gary, you had said you might be interested in attending, so this is the agenda. It's a regional commissioners and committee members meeting. Everybody is welcome to attend. So just a reminder.
So that's what I got a Hayward meeting and I didn't know what the hell it was about.
I had it on my calendar,
I
as
got
a
it on my
joint
phone too.
joint meeting, and highway committee meeting, and I got thinking, I know, I wrote that down, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
So it's at the Hayward Veterans Center. He didn't put an address on here. I'm not exactly sure where that's at myself.
It's right, I've been there before. I think it's right behind where the old KFC was, which is a Cellcom building or something.
Sure.
It's like 27 and.
It's right across from Main Street.
Right.
Main Street is.
Yeah, I've been
South of Main
in that building.
Okay. So yeah, everybody on the committee is welcome to attend. Here's the agenda for it. I will be there
Can I go too?
if you want to, sure.
Is this Tim Mason? Is he from Superior?
Tim Mason, I believe he works out of the Eau Claire office.
Okay,
I've never met him in person. I've seen him on Zoom meetings, but I've never had the opportunity to meet him in person yet. So
okay, good. Yeah. If anybody wants to go, maybe just let Matt know, send him an email or something.
if you want to let me know if you want to attend, that's, or just show
So we
up.
got a
whatever.
regular meeting that same day.
Yeah, I got a couple meetings same day.
I also put on in front of you, I got that late last week, it's agenda for or I don't know if there's an agenda, but the Winter Road School will be held, what is it, or January 17, 18, and 19 in Wisconsin Dells. So if anybody's
Let's go.
interested in signing up, you can let me know or fill out that registration and get it back to us and we will get it sent in. And
It'll be my last one.
if you want
Last for a while.
hotel rooms, you can let me know too.
Let me ask, did they reimburse you for that hotel?
Yes,
Good.
yep, thank you.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
because I went back and asked them multiple times.
Sure. Yeah, we did.
Good, thanks.
Yeah, we just started commissioner reports and that's the first thing I did.
You want to know who made the motions?
I think Matt wrote
I
it.
wrote
down.
it.
Okay, because I wrote.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So any questions on that, I guess, the Winter Road School? Otherwise, I can move into update on employees. There's been no change in employees. We're still holding our own on that, so we're looking good coming into winter. Hopefully, we don't have any changes before then. I'm
No, you don't want
hoping not.
You don't want.
Work schedule. We just completed, we shouldered on Highway 13 and Highway 77. We did some shouldering for the state. Done a lot of crack sealing since the last meeting on US 2.
See, you're painting a bridge.
We're bridge sealing. It's just a concrete sealer.
Right.
It's a clear sealer we're putting on bridges right now. We started,
I saw them down here on this bridge that there, you had a hole doing something on the, on the.
they did a little riprap. There's some small slides, just some dirt moving. So we did a little riprap, trying to stabilize them banks a little bit. We started making our salt sand for the winter today. I think what do we have, about 4,000 tons to mix up between for us and then the different townships. The tribe takes some. We're getting 2 brush mowers from Lulich's. We're gonna rent one. One's gonna go down on 13 toward Glidden area, and one's gonna go up on US 2 on the right of ways up there along and cut just a small brush back to the big trees. Well, actually down in Glidden, we're getting a, it's called a diamond head. It's a brand, and it's supposed to be able to cut up to like a 6-inch tree.
Really?
So we're gonna give her a try.
Or you go cut all the way to the tree line.
Where's that?
South of Good.
Well, we'll see when we get down there. I mean, eventually we want to cut that back to the right of way, whatever it might be.
Okay.
Some, it just varies. Some places it's 50 feet off center line, some it goes 75 or 100.
And you're well aware that I know that's a DOT thing because the state owns that road,
Yes,
but I'll tell you what, the southern part of the county from south of the Glidden Wood Yard, south to the county line is constantly asking me, when are they gonna clear the road like they have the rest of the
Okay.
county?
we're working our way down there. We're up by the wayside. We're gonna keep going in that stretch right now toward Glidden.
And that'll,
But, I always tell them if they want that cleared, call up Mike Estranga from the DOT and make yourself known, because it's good for them to hear it from somebody besides me.
Right.
That's, the
and I
citizens.
called
people
them last
want it.
spring, but I'll call them again.
Yeah.
because That's the biggest issue. Everybody likes what has been done up here. I mean, you can see things, you can see animals.
Yeah,
And they keep saying, well, how come the southern 10 miles or so? I said, it's coming. Just-
yeah, we're working at it. We've been working on that stretch south of the wood yard. We widened that out a little bit and got rid of, that was so hard to mow because it had boulders like that everywhere.
That's rock country.
That's not easy.
It's been working out great for us. The DOT's been paying us. We've been taking them rocks and putting them on our pile to haul to the island or wherever we need big riprap. So
Really?
that has been good so far.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
I don't know if this ties in or should be new business or whatever. As far as the summer help, we had talked about employees.
Mhm.
The summer help, what do they get paid an hour?
They were at $13 this year,
It was 12,
12,
15,
12,
13.
50, and 13 if they come back the second year.
Yeah, the second year we're at 13, the first year at 12.50.
Okay, I was thinking they were like at 7 or 8.
No, we've been slowly raising them up, trying to, that's Washburn County. They just went to, was it $15 or $16 an hour for their summer help. We got lucky. We wanted 6, we got 4, you remember. Some of the other counties didn't get any this year. I mean, or
Well-
they'd get somebody and they'd quit right away.
I
It's-
stopped
it's,
at McDonald's the other day and they were hiring $15. Part-time, they said adults $15, something about minors 12. So,
Yeah.
that's, I was thinking we were down to 7 or 8, but
No,
we had raised jailers at the last county board meeting to 15.
sure.
And, I just was wondering how hard it was to get employees and what we were paying.
Yeah, I would like 15, that's on the high end, but 13 or 14 would be great. I think we did figure in our budget to add 50 cents to them wages for each of them, go up to 13 and 13.50
Okay.
when we.
If they
turned in our
come back.
budget. So, yeah, if they come back. If they come back, we give them a 50-cent raise and then we pay them the 2 holidays, Memorial Day and 4th of July. So
My brother works for Marathon County Concrete by Wausau.
Mhm.
And right now, they cannot get anybody to work. So what they're doing is they're giving a $1,500 bonus if you can find an employee. And the employee has to stay 6 months. So my brother hired his son. And his son had a different, his son had a different job, and he quit that job so he could get the $1,500 bonus. Yeah.
Crazy. What, there's no help. I don't get it. The restaurants and all
Well,
over.
yeah, but we gotta stop this, that there's everybody's sitting at home. You have to look at the real big picture. A lot of people retired early. A lot of people aren't going back to work. Childcare is impossible.
Yeah.
When we used to have husband and wives working, one of them staying home now because you can't afford childcare if you can find it. We keep trying to make this thing up that nobody wants to work. That's not true. Last month when they said 4 million people quit their jobs, they didn't tell you that 75% of them took a better job.
Yeah.
It's like you said, if you're making 13 and I can get 15 over here, I'm going there. So I show up as a quit, but I really am still working.
Sure.
But the workforce is not there anymore.
Yeah.
The people with kids have finally figured out it isn't worth working if I'm going to pay for daycare, if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth working a 12 or 15-hour
No.
job. If you can make $20 to $30 an hour, maybe then you can afford healthcare.
Right.
But do the math.
It's and you're right, the restaurants are the ones because they pay 2 something an hour plus tips. Well, really? I'll go to McDonald's and I'm not knocking McDonald's, they're a great place, but I can make 15 there. Why should I make 2 here where you come in and buy a cup of coffee and don't tip me anything? So this whole philosophy of that people are sitting at home is not true. And I worked for the county in human services for 9 years, and I can't stand people who keep saying all those people on welfare. There is no welfare in the Ashland County. There is.
I don't know.
There's maybe 9 people that actually get some kind of monetary check in the county. Food stamps, Medicare is not welfare. Food stamps is an entitlement based on your income. Medicare and medical assistance is not welfare. I always get ticked about people because I have people down home saying, well, everybody in the county is on welfare. No, they're not. In the old AFDC days, when we had 400 and some people in this county, when we went to W2, it went to 10. Those people just disappeared because if the AFDC was a free check, W2 is a work check.
Sure.
But I'll get off my horse.
On that same note, you and I are subsidizing those employees with food stamps and other benefits.
Right.
So the employer isn't paying full cost for that.
Correct. No.
They said that unemployment was up like 10% this last month compared to last month.
But in Wisconsin is one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation. They're under 4. The country's at 4.8 or something. And 5% is full unemployment. If you go back in history and look at what the government says, 5% unemployment is full employment. But Wisconsin has one of the lowest unemployment rates. But people have just, I mean, I know dozens of people who retired early. So it's just,
Yeah.
anyways.
That'd be us.
That's right. That's right. This is a retirement club right here.
Back to work schedule. So we are preparing our trucks for winter time. We have some of them still doing other stuff, hauling gravel and material, but we have enough to, it'll be not full steam, but we have some ready at each location that we can start plowing if needed. So it's been a really nice fall, but could change on us anytime. You never know. I guess that's all I have for work schedule. There's no questions.
I got a question.
Sure,
When it comes to snow plowing, like we job out to the town of Jingles,
yes.
county does. What's the schedule as far as who gets plowed first, or, what's the schedule as far as
So,
that?
so that person that's assigned to plow Jingles, he plows out of the Ashland shop. So he leaves in the morning, we run 3 trucks up from Sanborn Avenue up to the roundabout, so there and back. So, and then one of them trucks breaks off and does 112. One breaks off and heads east to Birch Hill. And then the other truck does County A, and then he starts on Jingles.
Thank you.
So that's how that works. yeah.
Okay, well, I just,
Yep.
Is the town of Jingles been pretty satisfied with that work? Does that work
Yes,
out
very
pretty well?
much so. Yes, very good. Yeah.
It works out well for them and us. I think their snow plowing costs are probably the lowest in the county for a township, They only pay us when we have to come to work.
Oh.
I mean, if you had a terrible winter, their cost is gonna go up. You have an easy winter last year, they don't hardly pay anything for snow
the
plowing.
town of Jingles doesn't do private drives, do they?
No,
Yeah, no,
Yep.
that's a problem.
we got to plow our own.
The town actually was talking about.
Any other questions on work schedule? Otherwise, 2021 construction, that's all basically finished up for the year. I don't know if anybody's rode on GG, South GG, the whole 13 miles is really nice. It came really nice. They did a great job. And then the piece on N, that's all finished out and is in very good shape. The only thing we have left for that is that exec this week. We have to have Dick make a proclamation for fair housing for our CDBG grant. We thought we had that done already, but get it closed out. That's, I think, the last thing left. So they said we can do it. It has to be the board chair, supervisors, and it can be in a committee or a full board. So we'll put it on the exec committee for this week.
Did they replace all the guardrails?
On South GG, they did guardrail work from Elf Road down. That was part of that federal flap grant program.
Right.
So that was guardrails. The rest of the guardrails did not get done.
Okay.
On any of the county part that
Take a
we,
look.
yeah. Yep. Any questions on construction? Not, I guess that concludes my report.
Then we'll go to action on non-metallic reclamation plans permits.
So if you guys remember in August, I told you I would like to look over the amounts of financial assurance on the gravel pits in Ashland County, and also to look at the acres that they're saying they have open and the actual acres compared to our GIS flyover from last year. So if you look at this big spreadsheet, the ones that are highlighted are the ones that I wanted to make changes. And also from that meeting, you had said if people had an issue with the changes I wanted to make, that they could come to this meeting to talk about it and see if the committee would be interested in doing anything different. Obviously, there's nobody here today. I have talked to some of these people, Fred Bile, I talked to him, the Gary and Linda Feenstra, I talked to them, Vallis Fisher, Nelson Construction, Guy Peterson had called, Doug Thorpe. So a good part of them have called and talked to them and explained why I'm doing it and what I'm doing it. The only one that I really made a change on so far was from Fred Bile. I went down and met him down at a pit, and it was reclaimed, some of it that it didn't, I couldn't tell from the air picture. So I revised his acreage down a little bit, so he was satisfied with that. I expected a few people to be here today. There's a couple of them that have some changes that I expected them to come and try to contest, but they're not here. So there's really nothing for the committee to do with this today, as there's nobody here. Any questions if you have them?
Well, it says, the far column, it says fiscal
This
assessment amount.
was supposed to say financial,
Okay,
assessment amount. So that's what I want to raise it to. If you look under financial assurance column, about in the middle of the page, that's what they're currently have for financial assurance. So say, take that first one for Fred Bile. His current amount is 2,700. I wanted to raise it to 3,000. The next one was 3,078.50. I want to raise that to 9,000.
okay. Now, what are you raising the amount that they have to have insurance?
That they have to have a financial insurance filed with us, that it can come in the form of a bond, a bank account with our name on it, a letter of credit from a bank.
But right now, it's not costing them anything.
Well, it possibly could, you know, a bank might charge for a letter of credit, depending on, I don't know. Some of them have this in a escrow account, so they have that money sitting in cash that's in a joint bank account with Ashland County and themselves.
Okay, but they're really, if they do everything right, it's not costing them anything.
Well, like I
Well, they
say,
need, it's like insurance.
yeah, a lot of, like the big ones, say Ashland Construction, they have a $250,000. They do a letter of credit. Whether the bank charges them or not, I don't know
Oh,
that.
okay.
You know, Milestone, you know, they have 81,000. That they have a bonding company, gives a bond, a letter of a bond that they will honor that amount. So, yeah, if you look in the column just before the financial, it says, you know, letter of credit, escrow, letter of credit. It just goes down the method of how they have that money in place.
So if the pit ceases to exist or they fail to correct the grading and the, you know, the reclaiming of that pit, then the county would do it and use this money to do it with.
To pay for it, yes. Yep. And that's, it's DNR regulations. It's NR 135, I believe. We're in charge of doing this program. So they have to pay a yearly fee to the county and then to the DNR, which we collect a fee and pay it to the DNR. And that goes off acreage. So some of these, you look at Jim Buhegger, he was claiming he had 3 acres under claim. I say he has 6 acres under claim. So his yearly fee will go up a little bit to reflect that.
What's the yearly fee?
Goes on a sliding scale. I think it's 6 to 10 acres. So his fee right now, he's paying on 3 acres is $100. So it'll go up to 210 on the county end, and go from 35 to 70 on the DNR side.
Is that on this sheet?
It is on that sheet. The sliding fee isn't on this sheet, but if you look at a different one, you probably can find it.
Okay.
Comparable dollar or acreage amount. So. Any other questions on that one?
Question? Then go to action on commissioner appointment.
So the county highway commissioner by state statute has to be reappointed every 2 years. Or an ordinance can be created to prolong that term to a longer term or not have a term. Emmer back in 1991 was given a term until he retired or was fired, basically, one of the two. So my first term would be up. It have to be reappointed before January, the first Monday of January, whatever it is. If there's not a commissioner appointed, then Ashland County would not be eligible for state transportation aids. That's how the statute reads. So I'm seeking 2 options, I guess. And Dan, I talked to Dan about it. He would like to see us move to reappoint me at the November county board meeting. But then he said he don't have time to do a ordinance, a long-term ordinance for a longer period of time right now before that time, so he'd like to push that off until, January, February sometime. So I guess I'm looking for a support from the committee for a reappointment currently for November, and then hopefully support for an ordinance to go away from the 2-year appointment process. I mean, I personally, this is my thought, the 2-year appointment, I am a direct, with an administrator, he's my direct supervisor, if you want to call it. He can fire me at any time, for whatever reasons he needs to, you guys are the direct supervisor of the administrator. You can direct him to fire me if I'm not doing my job right. It's kind of redundant to have to reappoint every 2 years. So what,
We should have a third option, that if we don't reappoint you, then we'd have to
then you
advertise.
have to look for a new commissioner.
But,
Yes,
but right now, if we're not happy with him, we could not reappoint you.
that's correct.
But you would still have it until January.
Till January, yes.
Why can't we just make an I'm, as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy with your work. I think a lot of things have gotten done that, I'm not saying Emmer wouldn't have done them, but I'm just saying, I don't think there was a drop off. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there was a drop off when we switched commissioners. To me, I don't think it's a big deal. I think that if we wanted to me, that they should be able to follow the ordinance from the previous one.
The previous one had his name in there, and it
Yeah.
specified Emmer Shields, and when he was done, then it would go back to the 2-year terms.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
So, yeah.
I don't think there'd be, I can't see doing it twice, is what I'm saying.
well, if there was a new ordinance put in place, I don't think my name should have been in there. It should say Ashland County Highway Commissioner. And for there's no specific term, it's at the discretion of the county administrator and the county board.
What do you think would be a reasonable term?
Well, I think we should make the reappointment for whatever term we need, and then request Dan or someone to set up an ordinance so that we can review it and do it and just go from there. I mean,
Sure.
and because you're an at-will employee technically, like you say,
Yeah.
if we're unhappy,
Mhm.
there's the door, or if
it
Dan
is.
says something's going fiscally wrong or something,
Yes.
so.
Yep.
Dick?
I'm not in favor of eliminating the 2-year term thing. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be reappointed. I don't oppose anything like that.
Sure.
I don't see any future why you wouldn't be reappointed. I think we should go along with Dan's recommendation and keep this the way it is. And if you want to look into something down the line that makes it more permanent, even the Pope's job is guaranteed to that extent. First up,
No, I mean, but what, instead of having to do every 2 years, doing a reappointment process, you don't need to. As Gary said, it's at will. If the county doesn't feel I'm doing a good job, they can say, Dan can tell me, you're done. I mean, and let me go today. That's with the administrator, he's my
There you
direct
go.
supervisor. So the
They
term,
look good.
basically, I don't know, I see it as not necessary. Then it also takes, if there's any politics, changes, you guys could be, you get reelected, different people, maybe they don't want me for some reason, a personal reason, and not over what kind of a job I'm doing. It takes that part out of it somewhat.
well, the way I look at it, everybody here in this room goes through this every 2 years.
Yes.
We don't have a guaranteed job.
No.
I don't have a guaranteed job. I could get voted out of my position next time around. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think that we should go with option two. There's no bearing on what you're doing whatsoever. You understand that?
Yes.
I think you should be reappointed. I would vote for it if I had a vote, but I don't get a vote. But
Well, you do.
that's
because
just my thoughts.
You do get a vote because it has to go to full county board. This is just the highway committee that actually, well, it can be brought to full county board, but I think exec is the personnel committee, right? They would probably be the committee to, if there was an ordinance created where that would, I mean, you guys could support it, but it would have to go through exec.
Well, I'll make you a deal and it's not a bribe. You approve my road school application and I'll back it out.
Well, do we
How's
need
that?
a motion?
I would like to see a motion that you guys at least, at minimum, support my reappointment at the November board meeting.
I will make a motion that we go with option number 2 to recommend to the county board that Matt be appointed for another 2 years.
I'll second it.
I'd like a friendly amendment. Go ahead. I'd like to see Dan create an ordinance.
Well, if we get this done, then we'll take it back.
And Dan said he was going to just have to.
Yeah,
see-
I mean, if Dan wants to step in and say anything, he had,
Yeah, well, my plan is to appoint Matt for 2 years and then this early winter, winter, early spring, we do a longer term in order to extend that term longer. One of the reasons I wanted to do it that way is because I'm not sure how members of the county board are going to feel. So I want you guys to have the opportunity to figure out what exactly is an appropriate term. You know, I'm okay with stating at the pleasure of the administrator. That's fine with me. But if you guys want to do something similar, shorter, that's up to you. And I'd like to hear that too.
The only reason why I like the way we did it with Emmer is you're not giving a lot of faith to your current highway commissioner. I mean, you're basically saying, well, every 2 years, we're gonna put you in a hot seat again, when we could put him in the hot seat tomorrow. So we're just kind of playing with words here. I would rather have the commissioner have some sense of stability unless he does something radically wrong and the administrator comes to us or we know was something, you know. But I don't know why you would want to put somebody in that. We don't put anybody else in that seat.
Well, the whole committee, you know, we got an election in April and then we go to election before to be on this committee. You know, so there might not be any of us here
Right.
because, you know, we
Yeah,
we got, you know, that's 2 years and to do something in April.
But here's the situation. We just hired Dan as administrator, gave him a contract, and all 21 of us might not be here next April. So I don't want to, you know, and then Dan has to deal with 21 more radicals. But I just don't know if you have faith in our current situation. I don't know why. I like your motion as long as Dan is going to work on an ordinance and then the whole executive committee or the board can look at it.
Well, the only thing I wouldn't mind going along with the ordinance right now, but I can't see running it through twice. And if we do it in April or May or June, you're going to have a whole different board. You know, you could have a completely different board, a different committee. You know, if we're going to do something, you know, I wouldn't mind doing something now instead of having it in 6 months, because you're in April, we're going to have a big change. And maybe this committee too.
Well, it's your motion.
You could do 2 more.
Well, what would you consider if I amended my motion to say that it should be an ordinance passed at the next county board meeting?
Well, Dan just said that he doesn't have time to do that.
I know, but I'm just saying, if we decide, you know, it's going to be our decision, because we're not in April, some of us aren't going to be here for sure. And so if we want to do that, if we have enough faith in him now, and whether the county board wants to pass it or not, I don't know what the rest of you think.
So is it gonna be the county board or the executive committee?
The county board has to pass it.
I mean, I would be comfortable with doing a 2-year approval in November. And then, you know, if you guys wanted to direct Dan by January or February to look at a full ordinance, that gives him some time to work on it.
I think that makes sense.
It's your motion.
Okay, that's what I will say. Recommend that that the county board appoint Matt for another 2 years and that he look into passing an ordinance, making it like number 1.
Folks job.
By, you could say February of 2022.
Okay, so Bill made a motion,
Yeah, and
Marty's
I
second
second
it. Discussion, any other questions? All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mike.
Now, don't do anything important till I get back.
Okay, number 8, engine braking restrictions.
So I had a request from a gentleman in the Clam Lake area. He says every morning about 3 a.m. the engine brakes start rattling through town. Wondering if we can do anything about it. I don't know. I've reached out to the other highway commissioners I have a group with. Some of them have done it. Most, if they have done it, they've put it onto the town or village or whatever entity is in to create an ordinance and then to also somehow enforce it. Other ones I've reached out to say you put up a sign, they get more engine brakes, you know. Yeah, they get some backlash from it. You know, the DOT has a policy. They're not. They will work with a town or a village, whoever, but you know they don't know that it's proven that the signs work is how their policy reads.
Well, and depending on where this person is, if you're coming from Hayward towards Clam Lake, that 35 is in a blind corner, and I know even cars come into that Elkhorn area and 35, bam.
Yeah,
So I can just imagine that the truckers are coming down that highway, hitting that corner, and whether they're aware of it or not.
yeah. He was more referencing in his request GG and M, but so I'm not sure exactly. where
Well,
he
that could
lives.
be too if you're coming up to the, yeah.
Yeah,
Either coming into town on either one.
I don't know. I mean, the state policy, they'll let you, if they go along with it, if you do, the only sign you can put up is engine brake mufflers required on a state highway. It doesn't really say no engine brakes, it just says mufflers required.
That hill by my house, what, that Frank Kuntz's hill there, that when they come over that, it's just all the time.
Yeah,
But I don't know how you do that, because the city of Mellon has a, but they have the means to enforce it.
yes,
Yeah,
What
we
are
have
you gonna do
nobody
on the
there.
state? Yeah.
I mean, I understand what's going on.
yeah.
But I don't know, you're right, I don't know how we can force it. Other than somebody calling and saying Joe's logging truck is the one doing it all the time. Call Joe.
And at
But-
3 o'clock in the morning, how are you gonna know?
I know.
Yeah.
And you're right, coming in the M from Cable or GG, it's nobody slowing up fast enough to, or that's how they're slowing up.
Yeah,
I think we just say, I don't know
Yeah,
what we do.
I mean, I don't know either. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of a situation, but I mean, I get it. I understand. I feel for the people because I wouldn't like that at 3 a.m. rattling outside my window. But I don't know. I mean, if you know, you could put up a sign, please no engine braking between, 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. or something, but I don't know.
but if you're going to be coming that early in the morning, are you going to be able to read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going too fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the best
It
route
couldn't
would
do
be.
no harm to put a sign up.
Right.
Might. might just tick them off.
The problem is you're gonna have to put up signs on all 3 roads.
Yeah, we can't do it on the state highway. I mean, they will
Right.
only allow that one sign. But, I mean, we could throw something up on the county road, unenforceable. It's,
Can
I don't
the
know.
township or can the township do something?
So the town could create a noise ordinance for engine brakes. And, you know, if they wanted to do it townwide or specifically for Clam Lake.
Who would have to enforce it if the town?
Well, the county will tell you they're not enforcing town ordinance.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
exactly what goes on. We could make, maybe that's a suggestion to do this quick. It's just if they call or you contact them, say, hey, we think it's a town situation. And see if the town does something about it. If they come back to us later,
that's how the other counties have dealt with it. They put it off to the town, village, city, whoever to create something.
so we'll do it that way.
And then if we do something, how do you wanna do the signage? You know, do you want us to be responsible for signage or the town?
Maybe we'll find out if the town wants to do it,
Okay,
and then you can come back to us or
sure,
we can figure it out.
yeah.
So do you need a motion to dump it in the town's hands?
I think a directive just to manage.
Yeah,
the
I don't
city.
know if we need a
Yeah.
motion, but that should be what, Shannon Golden down there, or
Well,
Could be Gordon.
Gordon,
could be Gordon,
Gordon
yeah,
and
I
Shannon
can't
Golden
remember how the
probably.
lines sit for sure, but,
but
Yeah.
yeah, so just take care of it.
okay, I will, thank you.
Okay, Badger Bounce Back Grant Program.
So Mike sent this email out, I don't know if he sent it to everybody last week on the Badger bounce
Yeah.
back grant opportunities. And I've kind of looked through it, you know, there's a bunch of them. I'm not sure that any of them would specifically do us, but I can run through them just to tell you which ones are out there. And if you have an idea that I'm missing on something. So there's an Equitable Recovery Grant Program. That's for assisting community-based organizations. So I would say like nonprofits, that's my thought on that one. Tourism Capital Grant Program. Local tribal governments for tourism-related nonprofits to invest in shovel-ready capital projects. So I don't see us that one. Next one is movie theaters and venues. Summer camps and minor league sports teams. Workforce Innovation Grant Program. That's for regional economic development partners. So that would probably be your ARDC. Neighborhood Investment Fund. Provide $200 million in funding for significant projects that provide long-term benefits to communities while also addressing negative impacts from COVID-19. I don't know. I mean, can we get a road into that? I'm not sure. Main Street Bounce Back, that's provide grants to businesses that want to move on to Main Street. Wisconsin Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Diverse Business Assistant Program. That's for Chamber of Commerce's. Lodging Tomorrow Lodging Grant Program. Healthcare Infrastructure Capital Grant. Wisconsin Help for Homeowners. So, I mean, the only one I would see possibly is that Neighborhood Investment Fund. I don't know what you guys think, but if you want me to look into it, reading the description, I think it would be a very long shot for us, but I don't know. I don't know, have we been disproportionately impacted by the pandemic? I'm not sure how you can look at what impacts it's had on our communities.
what about,
Did you get them?
like,
Scared the shit out of them.
the snowmobiles and stuff? So resorts and stuff, would that qualify?
Well,
And
I
is-
think there's money in a lot of these things for
has-
different.
but has the amount of snowmobiles been the income from that been decreased because of the pandemic?
I mean, I think last year it was decreased because we didn't have any snow.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, based on the pandemic,
Yeah,
has the resort suffered?
I think, you know, you take like Upper Michigan, I know a lot of people up there. Last year, they were just totally buried. I mean, in snowmobilers, they had twice as many. They had snow and people were traveling in the pandemic in the last.
So that wouldn't
But-
really qualify.
Ashland County doesn't get a lot of snowmobile traffic anymore because it's so sporadic on when we actually get snow enough for decent trails. It's just,
But we could have it.
you could,
We could
Yeah.
have it and you could apply for it. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, no, you could apply for it, but I mean, it would be more on the private sector or the Chamber of Commerce applying for it. I don't know how I can turn it toward roads, or like you say, a snowmobile club.
There's tourism section, but that's
Yeah.
Well, we discussed this last week, you, I and Amber and stuff like that, and I gave that a second thought. And this is more toward the Ashland redevelopment, I suppose, and of course, Mary over at the chamber.
Yeah, there's a lot of
This would be a glove fit for
a
her.
lot of opportunity there
You know,
for sure.
like, she could do a heck of a lot of advertising for $100,000 to $300,000, you know, for that down in the cities and stuff like that, and, you know, some of what she's doing. So, yeah, it would be, you know, more of a fit. And of course, right now, Ashland Area Development over there, he's, we're working with this Head Start with Better, Red Cliff, Bayfield, Washburn, and stuff like that. So he said, take a look at that sheet of paper over there, and he had a yellow sheet of paper, and he had heck, 8 or 9 different items on it, and he says, I gotta go for the big bag. He says, you know, he had time to spare over there, so.
Yeah,
And you know, I spent a little bit of time with him, and well, it's just, it came to my attention, Badger Bounce Back. There's money out there, and there's gonna be more money. There's gonna be more money, you can be assured of that. And this is obviously Ever's thing here, so. What's that?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
There's more
yeah,
money.
There-
We'll
there-
get it.
there's gonna be more, and I kind of alluded with Matt and Amber here last week, is that, you know, looking back just for a second or two, I'm thinking that, you know, last spring, when we put these 3 road projects out there for RFP, and then, of course, those are near completion at this point in time, I said, you know, I don't want to say this too loud, but I think somebody ought to kick me in the butt here and say, hey, we should have probably went for more than 2 or 3 of those projects that we did. We should have probably went for maybe 5 or 6 of those projects, because it's not going to get any cheaper to do engineering and all this kind of stuff. And coming down the pike, as these funds come available, obviously, shelf ready is the magic word.
Yeah.
If it's not shelf ready, you're not going to have time to get engineering done and what we need to do for all the roads. So I may want to just reiterate that we may want to consider it even today, but it's not on the agenda, however. But yeah, we got a little bit of savings on those, what do you call it, construction projects we had this year. They came in underfunded, under budget. We have a little bit money to work with, and we may want to consider maybe at the next meeting of maybe doing another RFP for
Sure.
the next set of projects. Because if we get these 3 projects here funded by somebody else, or that's money saved.
That's good money.
That's, you know, right, that's good money. Now, if we can have the foresight of doing this again, and like I'm forecasting that there's gonna be more money out there, probably maybe winter comes springtime, I don't know, you know, the way this thing comes out from federal highway down through the state and all that kind of stuff. I would like to, when I was acting agency engineer with the Bureau of Indian Affairs and stuff like that, I was the only one in the country that had projects sitting on the shelf ready to go. In September, the end of September is a fiscal year for the government. The second and third week in September, we'd go down to Albuquerque, we'd all sit there and meet. And a lot of these regions out there had money, you use it or lose it. And Leroy would get up and say, well, okay, guys, anybody got any project ready to go? I'd look around the room like that. What do you got, Mike? My 3 projects, so $3 to $5 million projects, those are nothing because these guys had like 200 million to just lose, use it or lose it. And
Do we have any projects in mind now that maybe next meeting he could present some projects? that we
I could look over my list and
yeah,
make some recommendations for projects for design.
through attrition, just whatever comes up or just
Yeah.
have them take a look, see.
So we should do that next meeting?
I'm thinking, I think that, and the thing is, we discussed this before too. Well, if we wait for a year or two down the road, we still got to pay engineering costs. And if we do the engineering right now, we may get it at a lesser cost than down the road. But at some point in time, you're still going to have to pay the engineering cost. You could consider that a saving, call it whatever you want.
It might just be an update, that's all you need to do. And a lot of times when these things come out and on a short notice like that, everybody else is looking for engineers too, so that makes things a little more difficult to get ready. That's a good idea.
But that's just, I'm just talking out loud. I'm just, wherever it goes, it goes,
But it's good.
I'm one of those kind of guys, I'd like to have it on the shelf, it's ready to go, man. If anything comes up, boom, whether it be, well, obviously all the money comes from the state, we don't get enough for the $100, not like the tribes do. But
It's coming. I really do.
Yeah, we get some. I mean, it's through grant applications. GG was through a flat federal lands access program. That was federal dollars. We got a million from them this year.
But that's not a chump change, though,
Oh, no.
$1 million is $1 million.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I have applied just recently for 2 STP surface transportation program that were federal. They're administered by the state, but they're federal dollars. I put in a portion of GG and I put in one of the projects we have almost shovel ready. I put in F through that program also. I think we're fairly far down the list for funding on that one yet. Emmer had told me before he left that the STP program kind of works on an entitlement program, certain dollars on how they're divvied up. And we used up a lot on County H on Madeline Island some years back, and we're still in the hole from that for a while. But I figured we need to have applications in there in case, maybe the transportation bill coming up will throw a bunch of money at it. If I don't have any applications in, I'm out. So I wanted to have applications in for that. On Thursday, after the meeting with the committee down in Hayward, our commissioner group will meet. We have 2.3 million to disperse between us. I'm kind of in a arm wrestling match with some of the other counties on that right now. We'll get 200 some for sure, and I'm arm wrestling for 400, which I would use that next year to match with our county dollars to do a portion of GG between Clam Lake and Mellon. And then depending on how that turns out, then I have to put another flap grant, the federal lands access grant, together by December 15th. That one is due, and I'll do another portion of GG. So I'm looking at splitting that into, if I could get the SDP for the north part, I'd use county dollars in the middle because that's kind of the worst section right now, county, and this LRIP dollars that I'm going to be getting this week, and then use the flap for the bottom part.
Well, when are they gonna do Highway 13 south of Mellon?
That is paving next year.
Next year?
Next year that's paved, and then in 23 they're
How
doing
far are they going to pave?
the Morse corner.
The Morris Corner?
Yeah,
No, I was just on 77, and that's a beautiful road in Price County. That's beautiful. Why can't we have something like that on Highway 13? Have you ever been on that 77?
Well, you're not on Price County.
Yeah, in Price County,
77.
right in
77.
Fifield to the
70.
right.
Oh, that's
70.
seven.
Oh, that's 70.
Yes.
That is a beautiful road. Geez,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, here we got Highway 13,
Well,
and that,
13, the section that's being done next year was supposed to have been done originally
It's
this year,
supposed to be this year.
but it got pushed back. Just
yeah,
like
but
the city. of
even
Mellen.
the stretch from that area between Butternut to the county line, that's horrible.
That's in planning, but that's
I know, but
4 to
with
6
something
years
like
out right
that,
now.
could that be applied for?
That's total DOT. That's,
That's the,
yeah.
Okay,
They rebuilt that Highway 70 a number of years ago. It took a lot of bad corners. and
that,
stuff.
they did a beautiful job.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, we will see. We're gonna be, well, I know I'm getting some, it's 2 years ago, it was called the MLS program. That state had that extra 100 million. You've probably seen it in the news recently. This year, they renamed it to LRIF-S, supplementary. And I'm a little bit bummed on how it went, just because the last time it was a statewide. Last time it was a statewide competition, and Bayfield County got $1 million, Douglas County got $1 million. Some of the other lesser amounts. I thought we were in a good place to get $1 million on that again this year. Well, now they're giving out, like they always have, the LRIP-D dollars in the county. They just give our 9 counties a lump sum, and we have to distribute it between us. So depending on, I'm trying to get the other commissioners to say, hey, Douglas and Bayfield, they got $1 million last year. They shouldn't get any this time. But they're saying, well, we'd like to distribute it to everybody. And I'm saying, no, they got $1 million last time. I want more this time. So we'll see how that goes. But
I'd argue with them.
I have every intention of, I was getting a little bit nasty on the emails, and they said, let's just stop talking about it until we're meeting face to face, because
So you'll know Thursday?
yes, I will know Thursday on that.
Just yell at them.
I plan on it. I'm a little bit wound up about it.
You should be.
so do we want to go to highway budget?
Highway budget. So I guess, the budget's basically done. We're happy with how it went. Our improvement fund got, the 820 got left in there, so I'm very happy with that. Thank you guys for pulling on that. It's a big improvement. That's 300,000 more than we've been getting, so it's going to help. What were we gonna, if we needed to talk about?
Well, we didn't have anything unless we wanted to talk about that engineering for more projects.
Oh, yeah. We had put it in here just to, if, we didn't know if there would be anything to talk about after the meetings last week. We just wanted to have a line item, but, and then Mike had brought up about the engineering stuff. We kind of already talked about that, so, if we needed to.
Is there any chance the $1 million you got for South GG, is there any chance the Forest Service or federal would get money for GG between Clam Lake and Mellen? Because that's.
Yeah, that application is due by December 15th,
Okay,
but I'm kind of waiting to see how this other thing falls into place on, I'm gonna apply for $1 million. It's just on which stretch.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we will be. And we should have a good chance at that again. We applied 2 years ago and we didn't get it. So now we'll put in our second application, and I think we should be a little higher on the ranking system, so.
That 820,000, that hasn't been passed by the county board yet, right?
No, it's got to go to full county board in November, but it's basically, it's done at finance. Exec is just looking at it this week. It's all,
Wednesday,
and it seems to be pretty good consensus on, after your last board meetings, that the budget is looking good where it's at, so. I'm happy with how it's coming down, I guess.
Get a new grader.
Yeah. I didn't ask for one, but that'd be another 300 grand.
Okay, so any other questions on the budget?
So does it make, like, say, if we have a real hard winter, does that affects your budget, right?
It does. Mainly how it affects is how much if we have to back off on some of our summer projects per se. You know, we might not be able to change as many culverts or do as much crack sealing or do other things. I mean, should have enough budgeted, but if it was a terrible winter and we went over that, we'd have to cut into our summer budget.
What about fuel costs rising?
Yeah, it's hard to predict. I mean,
Diesel is way out of whack.
yeah,
I mean, one town's already talking about maybe looking at how the winter goes. If it gets really bad in February, March, coming back with a fuel surcharge on the snow plowing.
sure.
Because
Well, the state rates are looked at quarterly too, so every quarter I submit how much we spent on fuel and they take all that data and then sometimes they will increase the rates. Like last year with the fuel prices going down, they decreased. I mean, I think almost every quarter I did a change in our equipment. And those went down because of the decrease in the prices. And now we went back up a little bit January 1st, and then August 1st, it went up again a little bit more. So now I just submitted this last quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up before the end of the year again, but for sure January 1st. So they do check that quarterly,
okay,
and that will increase the rates that we charge out to
okay.
So
hopefully help with that.
that affects how much we get back from the state. You know, it'll go up. It'll affect how much we charge Jingles for their snow plowing, because that rate will follow the state rate. So the only way it would affect ours is the work we actually do on our system.
Okay.
So the fuel rate, yeah.
So if we have like a late fall like we're having now,
Mhm.
do you have certain projects that you're going to do right now?
We have a lot we can do, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just
So-
saying,
On the county system, we're not doing a lot right now. We did a lot through the summer. We spent quite a bit on crack sealing the culverts. We replaced a bunch of culverts on GG. We will be getting a brush mower out there. We're still short on people just doing other projects, these state projects, the bridge sealers and making salt sand. We don't have enough people to do everything we'd like to do, but it'll mainly be in the brush cutting. And then if the winter continues to be easy, we'll move into GG. We've been cutting them trees and widening that right away out the last few winters, and we will continue with that.
I've been reading the long-term forecast and there's a long-term forecast for whatever you want.
That's right. Changes it.
Whatever way you want to see it.
The question I had is, out of curiosity, do you have a culvert inventory and their condition and locations and all that kind of stuff?
We do. We use a program called Simple Culvert. It has a matrix of different, everything about the pipe size, condition, where it's at. It also maps it on a map. I can look at where every culvert is on our county system on a map. The very,
So then if you have a very poor culvert, you have a list,
yes, we do.
so that you can always see.
Yep.
Okay, right, okay, good.
Yeah, we try to look at them every 2 years, go through and reevaluate them.
Okay, are there any items for the next agenda?
So I'll look at some projects for design, bring that back to you guys under the next one.
And you can work on Dan over the next few months on your
Yeah,
position.
yep.
Okay, next meeting date tentatively? If it's needed.
do we want to have in December? Or do you want to do something in November?
Well, do you always set one up for November and then just cancel it, or do you?
It just,
or do you-
I don't have anything
Okay,
pushing right now. I mean, this
So-
projects for design would be the only thing I have coming up.
So December 3rd,
If you want to go to December 13th, I would be fine with that.
okay. If something comes up, you can let us know. Anything else? Oh, quick question. County F through Butternut, is that a county road or a village road?
It's a county road.
Okay, so right as you're coming past the restaurant and heading across that first, or towards that first bridge, there are signs on the road that said no parking between signs. Are
Okay.
those county signs or,
I believe they would be.
but they're turned the wrong direction?
Okay,
And obviously nobody reads it
yeah,
because of parking there all the time, but I don't want to get into the problem, but if, what I miss, see, the posts are here as you're driving down, the sign's on the side, not this way. Now, I know if you turn it this way, the arrow is gonna point towards the houses. But that
yeah,
is gonna
them
be-
signs, that must be the standard for them signs to be that way.
I know, but, and like I say, I don't wanna, I'm just saying that 5 out of 7 nights a week, there's cars parked all up and down there because there's not enough parking in the driveways. I understand
Sure.
it, but somebody said to me the other day, well, it's your fault. I said, why? He said, well, the signs are, can't read them. They're this way. So you drive past them. You can
Okay,
do nothing. But-
I'll look into it.
But like I say, it wouldn't work the other way because the arrow points to the house. But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
somebody, okay, then the other one is ripping up the county pavement with this black marks again. And it's becoming a town and a county issue. The sheriff's department is the one that would enforce whatever violation, because the other night again, and there's 3 distinct places. It's so obvious it's doing it. 3 different people, but
Sure.
it's right outside their driveways. 2 are on town roads, 1 is on county F again.
okay,
And the other night, he laid 3 marks. And so county sheriff's department,
that would be, yeah,
Okay, I
we
will-
have no
I
enforcement.
will tell those
on-
people that's who they should contact. And then the other one is Zesh's Corner. I don't know if you're, Terry Polachek, as you're heading
Okay.
east on F, goes at sharp corner. A few years ago, there was a big tree in there and somebody cut it down, which was fine. But how far from the county road in is the right of way?
33 feet from the center.
Okay, so if they wanted more, if some of those people wanted more of that cut, it would, they'd have to talk to the landowner too.
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
Because that corner coming off of Flower Lane and heading, there's that sharp corner there.
sure.
They're coming off there and somebody almost got hit again. But I said, I don't know how far the county's right away is.
We're 33 feet off the center. I mean, if the landowner wanted to give me written permission to trim them corners back, we'd go in and do it. I'd be happy to do it.
Okay, I will talk to
Because
them because they brought it up.
It's a good.
They
safety
brought it up at a
concern,
meeting
so.
the other night and they came after me and I said, well, hey, I don't know how far the county can go.
I think we're pretty well cut to our right of ways
Okay,
through that whole section.
I'll talk to the landowner and see
Yeah.
if they would.
But we're willing to, especially on corners or
that's a-
vision triangles at intersection, flip a little bit back if we have landowner permission.
That triangle up by Agenda Town Hall or the bar, I wish that somebody would clear that whole triangle out, but
Would hope.
you know, it's better than it was.
Yeah,
Because I understand what they're talking about. That Flower
Sure.
Lane comes right off that sharp.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much.
9/11 signs, are you putting those up? 911 signs?
The property landowner signs. No, who you want to talk to is our GIS coordinator.
But who puts the signs
the
actually up?
911
Yeah,
zoning, Josh does.
did they actually put the signs up?
They do. We used to work when Dorothy used to be in charge of that.
Now it's
It got
GIS.
moved a
Yeah.
year or 2 ago, the zoning.
But did
We-
you guys
we work-
used to put the signs up?
We worked with Dorothy to put them up. We used to.
Okay,
send
now
her-
you don't work with the other guy?
No,
He just
No,
doesn't,
he
'cause
does
he's
it
out there
himself.
anyways.
And it's $200 if you're a new landowner and it's a new sign. They're working on how they're gonna cover the replacements because some of the signs are starting to peel apart.
Yeah,
And so I talked to GIS and they're having a discussion on how they're gonna handle that.
So
most signs have about a 10-year life.
Yeah,
I mean,
So it's a
that's-
$200 fee for a new one.
yeah, if you were, like, if you put a cabin up somewhere It's $200.
Sure.
Is what you told me.
So yeah, that's all Josh. at this
Okay,
time.
so it's up to Josh. If someone has a cabin, should they have a sign or no?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
there's a building of any type. that
Okay,
should have a-
I
It's a
complained
permit.
to somebody, I didn't know I've been complaining to the right person, somebody was like in the town of Ashland. There's been 2 or 3 cabins built with no signs whatsoever.
Probably don't even know the
They
cabins. are
probably
there.
don't have a building permit. either.
Well, yeah, I'm sure of it. I gave the zoning office a list of people
That's the-
that never had a permit to build. And now I stopped in there this morning and the zoning gave me a copy of the 2 towns where I'm assessing. They gave me a copy of the people that applied for permit. So when I get done, I'll say, okay, John Smith and so-and-so never got a permit. Here's the list. And I'll give them another list.
I think it's double or triple the permit fee if you
Right.
get caught,
Probably, yeah.
but they only go back so far. Because you're not being taxed on it either then,
Well,
Yeah,
you
that's right.
can go back 2 years,
yeah.
current year, 2 years. Okay, now I know that you're not doing it. Okay.
The only thing we ever did was, we worked with Dorothy. She would pay for our guy for labor for a day to go put signs in with her. So,
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
The town always managed to find my building.
No.
That guy's not there anymore.
adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Mike. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you very much.